Hey there, and welcome to GamePoints, our weekly get-together. We talk about the past week in gaming news. I am, as always, your host, Stephen Brown. Joining me today is David Smith. Tonight, a bit of a slow news week because, well, if you were living in a cave, a big event happened last week that kind of sucked the oxygen out of everything around it. That was the U.S. election. Don't worry, we're not going to get political on here unless chat really demands it. I
In
just
which
wanted
case, we're
to
going to tell chat politely to leave.
I just wanted to bring it up in case you're wondering why it's such a small show tonight. But what we are going to discuss, Telltale might have a new game coming around in the Marvel Universe. We have some Switch price leaks coming up. But before we get into any of that, I do want to mention right now that you can find copies of Titanfall 2 on sale for $30 right now.
Yep, that is a thing that is happening. Although I've only seen it for Xbox One. I know Amazon Prime has it, but $30. Why can't everyone just have it?
It is definitely a problem. I think that just goes to show that EA fucked up on the release of this one here. Uh,
Oh yeah, they sent the game out to die, which sucks because from all intents and purposes, or all reviews and shit I've read, it sounds amazing. Just
yeah, it
I already bought Battlefield. My bad.
for $30, I'll probably pick it up. It is only on Xbox One at the moment, though, which is kind of rough. My theory behind that is because since Titanfall 2 was an Xbox One exclusive, they pumped out a lot more copies for the Xbox One version, and retailers are just backstocked all to hell. But if you got an Xbox One and you were looking for a cheap first person shooter, I'm told this is fantastic and it looks cool. I'm not going to bash it too hard. It just goes to show what timing can do, and EA fucked the pooch on this one hard.
Mm-hmm. Womp
It,
womp.
yeah, it also doesn't like there are a lot of people too who are saying, "Oh, this is just a Black Friday sale." And it's like, no, 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 no. Black Friday is not until next week. You're not seeing anything else going on sale for discount right now.
Actually, that's not necessarily true because Amazon tends to have Black Friday month, and they usually have sales for the weeks leading up to Black Friday, with Black Friday being their fuck off doorbuster day.
And if Walmart wasn't also doing this, and Walmart being the progenitor of this, I would be inclined to agree with you. But Walmart started this, Amazon saw it and matched, and other retail stores aren't matching what Amazon has on sale right now. This is a clear sign that Titanfall 2 is not selling as well as they hoped it would, which sucks.
I don't see how they expected it to sell at all when they released it a week after their own shooter and a week before Call of Duty. Like
Yeah, I
again,
mean,
I said this last week. If this game came out in March, I would buy the hell out of it day one because there's nothing coming out right at the beginning of the year for shooters really.
yeah, we've
And I
absolutely beaten this to death, sadly.
yeah, and I loved Titanfall, so I'm bummed. Thanks guys, jerks.
That definitely sucks. But anyways, welcome to the chat if you're here. Zionite, I saw you in there earlier. Thanks for showing up. If anyone else is in chat, feel free to join in. We do try to respond to your comments when we can. Just keep in mind the delay, and we do kind of go pretty fast. So if we don't get to your question, sorry, it wasn't necessarily intentional. Uh,
Also, if I glaze over, I'm probably talking to chat. Just to warn you.
yeah, fair enough. So, anyways, let's start off with the first big news story of this very brief week, and that is the fact that yep, that's not it. I've already fucked that up, didn't I? Oh my
We're
god, it's all
professionals.
wrong. It's all
Anyway,
gone wrong.
let's talk about the PS4
Here we go.
Pro.
Yeah,
We
PS4
don't need
Pro
articles
seems
to
to
talk
be
about it.
selling well,
Yeah,
as I
good
had to
job.
update the ticker to the appropriate thing. uh,
Anyway, article: PS4 console sales up 204% following the Pro launch.
yes.
Now, we had talked about the last couple weeks how the Xbox was actually the number one seller for a little while there, and they were super stoked about it because there was no time where they had three best sales months in a row for like 18 months. So they were super stoked, and then all of a sudden PS4 showed up. But we talked about this. We thought everyone was waiting for the Pro to come out. Everyone was waiting for more Black Friday deals, and the market was pretty saturated with Sony consoles anyway. So it makes sense. So I'm excited to see it's doing well, though. We were kind of worried on what it was going to be doing, who it was going to be for. We mentioned that the only reason really to get a PS4 Pro is if you already have a 4K TV or if you're invested in getting one already. Whereas if you just have a regular 1080p, you probably won't see too much of an upgrade. Maybe frame rate in some games, supposedly better VR, although I don't know the full details of that. But it sounds like a lot of people were willing to make that jump. So good job, Sony.
This article is via mcvuk.com. Now, keep in mind, these sell figures are for the United Kingdom. The United States and North America doesn't get their stuff usually until the NPD numbers come out. UK guys get them a little bit faster, once again, according to the article itself. Sony's new powerful Pro console is in stores and has helped PS4 console sales triple in the UK. That is according to the GfK hardware sales data seen by NCV for the week ending Saturday, November 12th, which says that overall PlayStation 4 sales rose 204% week on week. Of the total PS4 sales for this period, 65% of them were the PlayStation 4 Pro. Sales of the original PlayStation 4 models, Launch and Slim, rose 8.5% week on week. This is more or less what we were already saying. This is because the Pro came out and everyone was waiting to buy it. That's why it's doing so well. PS4 sales were starting to slow down because of a combination of saturation, the PS4 coming out, and the fact that Sony really doesn't have that much of a library coming out this year.
Not to say that they stopped selling completely. They actually started getting outsold by Microsoft.
Yeah, and don't take this as the PlayStation 4 is beating the hell out of the Xbox One either. Xbox One sales are also up a ridiculous amount this week as well as we lead into the Christmas season. Both these consoles are selling very well. It's the software sales that are kind of down across the board. But yeah, it looks like people were just waiting for the PlayStation 4 Pro to come out. We'll see if they are able to top Microsoft by the end of the month or not. It'll be interesting to see if that's what people were holding out for. But if you're thinking of getting a PlayStation 4 Pro, one of my favorite sayings is, of course, caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. It is having major issues with certain TVs. And here's the fun part. We don't know which TVs it's having an issue with.
So that leads us right into our next article talking, this is from Forbes. Tons of people are reporting issues just getting their PS4 Pro to even come up on their TV. Everyone's blaming everyone. Sony says it's the TV's fault. The TV makers say it's Sony's fault. So trying to get your 4K HDR, super nice picture out of your PS4 Pro might not be the easiest thing in the world, depending on which brand or model TV you have. There's issues with models from LG, Samsung, Sony, Philips, Vizio, a bunch of different smaller brands, probably a bunch of Chinese brands and all that fun stuff. But the issue is that the PS4 Pro is incorrectly recognizing everyone's TV as being incapable of handling 4K. So while you do have your super awesome 4K HDR TV, for some reason the PS4 is not seeing that, and it's just outputting in regular old 1080, which is not why you bought this damn thing. So I'm willing to bet they're probably scrambling for some kind of firmware patch, but again, everyone's blaming everyone. So at this time, I don't think Sony is necessarily taking the blame. They're also saying it might be compatibility issues, just driver problems on televisions, although I didn't know that televisions had drivers. So it's hard to say who's in the right here. And we're just hoping that it'll get fixed because, again, I'm the guy that doesn't have a PS4 yet. You do. And I was waiting for this because I do have a 4K TV. So I'm glad I didn't buy one day one.
Yeah, it is a clusterfuck because the funny thing is there's not even a set pattern. Like I was saying, we could both have the exact same model of Samsung television, and the PlayStation 4 Pro, the same PlayStation 4 Pro will work on one, but not on the other one, and they could have the exact same firmware installed as well. They do not know where these issues are coming from.
Mm.
So it sounds like part of it is it's not detecting that it's a 4K capable TV, so it'll cap it at 2K. There's also rumors about how the PlayStation VR inbox isn't necessarily detecting the PlayStation 4 Pro at all, so you're not getting any improvements there. There are just a lot of issues. I can almost guarantee this is some kind of a software issue as opposed to a hardware issue, especially if it's working fine on other TVs. But man, this just shows that we all know so little about 4K TVs. Everyone's kind of rushed to market with a whole bunch of shit. And you just have to be very careful when purchasing a 4K TV because a lot of times if you see a 4K TV for less than $700, it's not really 4K. They use a lot of techno voodoo,
like
as it were, to get around it.
And nonsense. So it'll be a 2K or even a 1080, and they just output it at a higher resolution. And while that sounds nice, it doesn't actually give you better picture quality.
Yeah, correct. You're just kind of looking closer on the same image you were before. It doesn't really sharpen anything up. Do your research is the best thing I can really say here. There's a lot of misinformation about 4K TVs. There's been a lot of misinformation about TVs in general, especially since we started having the smart TVs show up. At the end of the day, just beware of what you're buying. I mean, that's the long and the short of it.
I mean, it just might be a good idea to wait. I mean, if you were in the market for a PS4 Pro and you haven't already taken the leap and bought one, maybe hold off for a little bit, give it a week or two, see how this all fares, see if they get this patched up, just to make sure that your TV is compatible with it, or the TV you're looking at buying is going to be compatible with it. But the nice thing is, while PS4 Pros are selling fairly well and they are having issues, it's actually not impossible to get one. So you have that going for
Unlike some other products we'll be talking about later in the show.
you.
Uh, Next topic. So later this week, Watch Dogs 2 comes out tomorrow, in fact, or tonight, depending if you get it on midnight release or not. Apparently, in Watch Dogs 2. Fuck, I hate that name. It's such a bad name.
It's a great name.
There is an Easter egg that may or may not be teasing Ubisoft's next game. Now, if you know what the premise to Watch Dogs is, you're essentially a hacker. This is more or less the 90s movie Hackers, set in a modern day, and you can hack into the Ubisoft building, which is in San Francisco. The setting for the sequel is in San Francisco. You can go into the Ubisoft studios, hack into the computers, and if you do so, you see this trailer right here. It starts off with confidential from Ubisoft do not distribute, and it is a quasi space. I couldn't even really tell you, to be quite honest with you. It's some kind of science fiction-y. There's a bunch of like space stations, some construction going on. It reminds me a lot of No Man's Sky, actually.
Yeah, a little bit.
No word on if this is a real game or not, though if Ubisoft was clever, and I have no reason to think why they wouldn't be in this case, this is actually a tease for their next upcoming game. We have no idea what it is, we have no idea what it may be. We don't even really know if it's real. This could have just been faked, but I like to think that they're smart enough to make this into
yeah, but they don't really touch space. They've never really touched space.
Yeah, well, they never really touched snowboarding either, and they did. Or going to a steep.
I guess that's an excuse. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be anything, honestly. Well, I guess it's cool to have this story and think, oh man, there's this teaser in Watch Dogs 2, and maybe it's this real game and it's going to come out. Other games have done similar things where you get a sneak peek of content, or you get some extra little cutscene that doesn't necessarily relate to the game, and then it turned out to just be nothing. Once again, bringing me back to Metal Gear Solid 3 and the Nightmare minigame, which was never a game released.
Yeah, but was that really ever meant to be a game release? Didn't that ape very heavily off of Police Knots?
So? Doesn't this ape very heavily off any other space game?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Not that Ubisoft's done. This is all unique and original, from what I can tell.
All right.
Now, if they were like, here's an Assassin's Creed game, and it's like playing like Cynic or stuff like that, I'd be like, okay, this is probably a little bit more of a parody, kind of showing you what's going on. But this was a just random ass teaser with, like I said, looked to be construction in space. I don't know the details of it. I don't even know what it is. And we don't even know if it's real or not. But this rings true enough to make me think that there is actually something here beyond just, oh, here's this random thing we crammed in this game.
All right, that's fair. Who knows? It'd be cool. I'd like to see anything in space, but I'm a little salty from games released recently and another big giant space game that we're still waiting to come out.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Star Citizen. That game is minimum 2 years away, but we're not going to talk about it. Instead, what we're going to do is turn our ire upon another PC game that just recently released, and that is Dishonored 2, and the fact it apparently runs like shit on the PC.
Oh, surprise! Now, a new PC game comes out, and for some reason it doesn't run.
It's a good chance I might be going on a rant here. I'm not going to go into the technical details on it if you want to. If you really do, you can go to PC Gamer and take a look at this article. Here's why Dishonored 2 is running so poorly.
It's really, another fucking port.
Yeah, it really goes down into the full-on details about why technically it's having issues, and they get down to it. But long story short, David, you hit the nail on the head. It's a piss-poor port that was designed for consoles and shitted out on PCs. It's currently sitting at Steam at a mixed 56%, which fucking sucks, because if you play it on console, The game is apparently fucking great, but I'm not buying it until they fucking patch the game. This is why you do not pre-order, and this is why you need to double down and refuse to buy shit at the moment from Bethesda day one until they actually let reviewers get a hold of it, because you can't fucking tell me the timing of this review policy that Bethesda put into place is just coincidental.
Oh, yeah. When they release a game that will run decently if you have a high-end 10 series NVIDIA card, if you have to have a 10 series card to play it at a decent frame rate in 1080, because people GTX 1080s can't even play this game at 4K, not at any manageable resolution or manageable frame rate.
People are having problems playing this at, yeah, like you said, 1080 with having a 1080.
Like, that is just fucking bullshit.
It's yet another reason not to pre-order things. I know we hammer that, and we're not the only show that hammers that over and over again. There's no need to pre-order it. Wait, save your money, and when they release a shitty port, or just a shitty game in general, refuse to buy it until it gets fixed. We are not beta testers, Bethesda. We paid for what is supposed to be a working product. We are not on your payroll to test out and bug test for you. Fucking stop. And once again, I will reiterate, that's not fucking coincidental that you decided to fucking go, oh, we're not sending out review copies until the day before launch, before the first game that is riddled with bugs since. Skyrim, if I understand, ran kind of well. It had a little bit of bugs, but nothing along the performance issues this is having.
Well, I mean, Bethesda games always have problems, but at least they're usually playable. Like, there's weird bugs and glitches and things, but there's ways to get around it, and there's ways to play the game. They've actually released a statement saying that if you have an AMD card in your machine, you should probably just hold off on buying Dishonored, because guess what? You can't fucking play it.
Yeah, and these are not problems that they didn't know about either. It's not like they went, oh, these completely caught us off surprise. Bullshit, you fucking released a bad product. Stop doing this, publishers. Bethesda's the current guilty party, but they are by far not the only one that's out there right now. Stop it. Fuck, I mean, I'm so pissed off because I was so looking forward to Dishonored 2 as well.
Oh yeah, you've been hyped on this game for a while now, so
But
bummer for you.
because
And they had a cool showing at PAX, but if you remember, it was all videos. There was no real.
yeah, they didn't have it playable as far as I can tell. Fortunately, I will say the good thing about Bethesda's fucked up review policy and not handing out early release copies the day before is that it actually kept me from pre-ordering it and buying it that day. Not that I was going to. It kept me from buying it that day. I should say I wasn't going to pre-order it to begin with, but it kept me from buying it at midnight. Instead, I was like, oh fuck it, I'll wait the weekend. And goddamn, am I glad I did, because your game fucking runs like shit on PC, which is my preferred platform of choice.
Which is funny because, well, yeah, I was going to say, while we're on this topic, didn't they also recently release a remaster of a game that came out 6 years ago, and somehow they managed to fuck that up too?
It's nowhere near as fucked as it is on PC.
I mean,
I'm told PlayStation 4 has some performance issues, though, which is just fucking hilarious because it had problems on the Sony console last time it came around as well, too.
Yep, we're obviously talking about the special edition Skyrim that came out recently, but just bugs and issues and shit galore. Like, if you own a PC, don't bother with it. Just mod Skyrim, and it'll look and play better anyway.
If you're not confident in your port that you're releasing, don't fucking release the port. If you don't give me the option of PC, I would have fucking bought this on PlayStation 4, had a much more pleasant experience. Instead, you do shit like this, and it just taints the entire franchise.
Mm-hmm. And we've had issues with a whole number of games. Not to drag WB through the mud again, but we can always bring up Batman and the clusterfuck that was.
I mean, this isn't Arkham Knight levels of bad, though ironically, no. Arkham Knight actually ran fine on my computer.
I mean, you're the rare bird there, but...
Oh, I fully admit that.
It's a really common trend with developers right now, and it's becoming a bit of a problem, especially if you're primarily a PC gamer, because unless something's coming out that's actually a PC game, there's no reason to buy anything day one. There's no reason to buy anything besides at a Steam sale when it actually fucking works.
No, I absolutely agree. The only thing that you might want to consider even like reserving these days is hardware.
Or unless another Witcher game comes out.
And you want like
another Witcher game comes out, jump all over it, because those motherfuckers know how to make a PC game.
No, even then, If it's digital, if you're buying digital, there is no reason at all to pre-order it. You get nothing for it. You can make the
I didn't mean
argument.
pre-order. I just meant you could actually buy those games on day one and not necessarily get fucked over.
Fair enough, but The Witcher 3 had more than its fair share of bugs in it. It just wasn't unplayable bugs as far as I can tell.
Did
I
you
think
play
there
it at
was.
high frame rates?
I did.
Yes.
I did. That's very true. Uh, but yeah, Bethesda, bad on you. You're
Yeah.
fucking up one of my favorite franchises from a couple years back. And can we even call it a franchise? It's really only had one game in it.
That's not a franchise. You're fucking up a sequel to a really nice game that came out one time.
It was fun. You fucked it up, and now I have to look at this game as less than what it could have been, and that
Mm-hmm.
fucking sucks because it looks awesome.
Or just go pick it up
Anyways,
on PS4.
next topic. I think we're done bashing that into the ground.
All right, let's make fun of Activision.
We will. I want to preface this by saying right out the gate, this is not the end of Call of Duty by
Oh hell
no
no.
stretch of the imagination. But according to GameIndustry.biz, apparently Call of Duty Infinite Warfare sales and its player base has dropped. Call of Duty Steam player base down sharply. Infinite Warfare's opening weekend sees peak player counts of 1/4 of those posted last year by Black Ops 3. That's bad. That means only a fourth of the people were playing a week after Call of Duty Infinite Warfare released than were playing when Black Ops 3 released. If you want exact numbers, the article says, quote, Infinite Warfare peaked with around 15,000 players per hour on Steam during its launch weekend. Less than 24% of the 63,000 players per hour Black Ops 3 managed in the same post-launch timeframe. Infinite Warfare is also proving to be a less popular option for Twitch users, as it peaked with around 100,000 views, compared to Black Ops' 190,000 views. This is clearly Call of Duty fatigue.
I would like to
The
point out,
franchise has
because
peaked.
it's my favorite part of this entire story, that there was several times this last week, actually more often than not, where you could check the concurrent player base on Steam, and Farming Simulator 2016 had more players than Infinite Warfare, and that's fucking hilarious.
Now, once again, I need to stress this is not Call of Duty Infinite Warfare bombing by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh well,
This
because
game
keep in mind that
can and will still bank.
we are specifically talking about PC Steam numbers. And Call of Duty, specifically Call of Duty, I mean, I know shooters a lot of times now are really big on consoles, probably even more so than PC, even though PC does have a hardcore first-person shooter fan base. Call of Duty is a console shooter. They build it as a console shooter. They advertise it as a console shooter. They sell Mountain Dew with it as a console shooter. It is made for casual couch play shooters.
I absolutely
So
agree.
it is still doing well there, but for PC kids, it's just, I mean, it's not the best shooter available for your PC right now.
Yeah,
So people are
and
not picking it up. But it's definitely not the last one, because I already heard a rumor earlier today that they had a title for the next Call of Duty called Lethal Combat.
Lethal Combat? No.
Yeah, no, it's, I don't know,
No.
that's the thing. I saw it on like Game Ranch or something earlier today, that it was
No,
going to
that can't be
it's going to
right.
be, I don't know. I'm just telling you, there's already speculations and rumors of what the next Call of Duty is called. So
Yeah.
obviously the series isn't gone.
Well,
Is
what
where
we do know is that they
I don't
have
give a
three
fuck what you call it.
studios. They have three studios working on 3-year cycles. They have Infinity Ward, which did this one, Treyarch, which does the Black Ops games, and Sledgehammer Games, which did something. I don't remember what Sledgehammer did.
Who
Uh,
knows?
so this is an annualized franchise, and it's not. Once again, it is not going anywhere. In fact, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, even with the lower Steam numbers that we're seeing here, still might end up outselling Battlefront 1 overall. So don't be dancing on its grave yet. And in fact, you shouldn't be dancing on its grave. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is a fun game. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's glorious. It's not the best thing since sliced bread. In fact, in my opinion, that franchise peaked around Modern Warfare 2, which is still one of the best first-person shooter campaigns I've ever played. But
Also, the last real Infinity Ward game.
yeah, well,
I know some of
Titanfall
you
was
are
the
with
last
me.
Infinity Ward game.
Sorta.
Yeah. So it definitely. I don't ever want to see a game do bad. Like even Star Citizen, we mentioned it earlier. I want to see that game fucking succeed like
Oh
no
yeah,
one's business.
I want that to be the best game ever released and sell like gangbusters, and for me to play it forever. But
And
only
Infinity
time will tell.
Infinite Warfare didn't do bad. As far as we can tell, it's not doing bad. It's still selling very, very well. It's just the franchise has clearly peaked, and I think that they need to either take some time off, like what Ubisoft is doing with Assassin's Creed,
Hmm.
where they just kind of go away for a year, and that's going to hurt Activision's bottom line. But they need to think about the long term health of the franchise, or possibly, since the futuristic stuff is not the direction that people seem to want this franchise going to, I think it might be time to come back to World War II. Because we never
Dude,
really have
I
had
was
a
actually
current gen World War II game.
I was playing Battlefield 1 earlier today because we mentioned that that's the shooter that I bought. You bought Infinite Warfare. We both went our different ways. But that game looks gorgeous. And of course, one thing I've always liked about the Battlefield games is the sound design is fantastic. It's one of the things that made Battlefront really cool is just how good they are at getting sound. And I really, really want, after playing this game, I want Battlefield 1942 in the Battlefield 1 engine because
Yeah,
it would be
I would
amazing.
definitely love to play that. Uh, hey there, lick my salty left testicle. How you doing? Welcome to the chat. It's a good name.
Classy.
Uh, but yeah, so I mean, it's not the end of Call of Duty. Don't think it is. That's the long story short. But it is peaked. I think we've seen that game plateau and now it's starting to drop, like all games and game franchises eventually do. Next topic. Will the Switch from Nintendo be $249.99? There is rampant speculation about what the price would be because Nintendo fucking doesn't give us any kind of information on what their shit is. They just go, hey, we'll have some more information soon, and if their release date is this close, they need to be pumping out the information now rather than later. So when you don't do that, when you don't give out information, you let rumors run rampant, and that is a big problem, and I'll explain why here in a second. But first, let's talk about what we saw here. This information comes via NeoGAF, and God, I fucking hate that site, but here it is. Poster M Dubs on NeoGAF essentially screen capped a web page from Toys R Us Canada listing the price at $329.99. Now keep in mind this is Canadian. In United States dollars that translates to $249.99. There's apparently also some UK price listings out there that list it at the equivalent of $249.99 American as well. All these web pages have since been pulled, so you really
Hmm.
can't find them at the moment. Now, are they placeholders? Sure, they probably are placeholders, but retail stores, when they put in a placeholder price, will never, or almost always never, undershoot how much it's going to cost. They will overshoot it because they don't want someone coming into pre-order and going, wait a minute, this was $249, why is it $300 now? So, David, the question I ask you is
Nope.
no, it's not $249.99?
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask if 249 was gonna sell me a Switch.
No.
Um, Again, I'm still thinking no for my answer, just because we talked about the fact that, well, we'll get into it more later because I'm just kind of pissed at Nintendo right now.
All right.
But they don't really know what the market is supposed to be doing or what they're supposed to be doing in the market. So again, I don't think this thing is going to be less than $300 after taxes.
Do you think that despite all these rumors coming out for it being $249.99, it's going to be $299.99 minimum?
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Just
249
because
sounds right to me.
at this point, it's going to probably be something where they have to make money on this console. They cannot sell it at a loss.
Well, they did say that they will be selling the Switch at a profit to themselves. They're not eating the cost on it like they did with the Wii U, I believe. I think they sold
Yes,
the Wii
but
U at cost.
they are so far behind and they are so out of touch that I think they're going to go for the money.
Possibly, but this, guys, Nintendo, this is why you don't let the rumor machine run rampant. You're letting the message get away from you. Because right now, the current zeitgeist is that Nintendo Switch will be $249.99 when it launches. If you fucking release it at $299, you're gonna have people pissed off that it's $50 more than what they were told. Now, in your defense, you didn't say a price at all. But you didn't say anything, and you just let the rumors run rampant everywhere, and guess fucking what? If people don't have information, someone will just fucking make something up. And that's what people
Hmm.
will take as gospel, which is why you can't fucking do this to us, Nintendo. This is building up to what the topic of the week's going to be, so I'm going to stop right here. But yeah, $249.99 though does sound like a legitimate price to me. That sounds like how much it's going to cost. Will it be that much? We'll fucking find out in 4 months, which we should have all the
Sure,
info on it right now, but I guess not.
sure. Let's just talk about other stuff.
All
I'm
right,
over it.
last bit of the news this week. Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game has been leaked. This is from comicbookmovie.com, even though I think that might sound like an unusual website. I believe we've used them before. The
Yeah, we use
article
everybody.
the article goes on to say Telltale Games' secret Marvel project revealed: the Guardians of the Galaxy. One of the consequences of the recent SAG-AFTRA strike was the revelation of several new games in development, including a large clue as to the identity of their long-awaited Marvel game. Now, a few months back, we heard that Telltale's working with Marvel on something. Uh,
Hmm.
it's been grumbling. We didn't know it was going to be, but because of the current voice actor strike right now, there's a bunch of legal documents getting tossed around. And, well, as you can see on the article right here, one of them was listing two games from O'Farrell Enterprises LLC. One of them as Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game, aka Blue Harvest. Now, the reason why we can tie that to Telltale Games is because the other O'Farrell Enterprises LLC game is The Walking Dead Season 3, which absolutely is a Telltale game. So O'Farrell, whatever that was, I took the screen down, is O'Farrell Enterprises LLC is clearly representing Telltale for the voice talent.
Mm.
And I mean, this is what happens when legal documents get leaked. Not that they're, I shouldn't say leaked, they're all public record anyways, but that's what happens when lawsuits happen. Shit gets spoiled. So yeah, Telltale, the Guardian of the Galaxy. David, do you care at all?
Actually, I have to go back just a little bit. Well, this sounds really cool because for me personally, Guardians of the Galaxy is still the best Marvel movie that's been released so far. I mean, it's got an 80s soundtrack. It's hilarious. It's stylish. It's sci-fi as all hell. So it's great. But if you look at that list that you pulled up just a minute ago
Let me go and bring that back up again.
of the list of projects that SAG-AFTRA basically listed as being games that have not struck new voice acting deals, take a look at the one on the very bottom for me.
I saw
Because
that. VoiceWork Productions Project Atlas, aka Saints Row.
that is actually, to me, the bigger part of this story. I know we're all about Telltale and we talk about anything that they're working on because that's what everybody wants to hear. But for once, fuck all you guys. I want to hear about anything new Saints Row related because I love me some Saints Row.
I think, and I'm not positive of this, but I think the reason why that's not necessarily making the news is because this Project Atlas is the code name for Agents of Mayhem, which is that weird Saints Row-ish reboot that Volition was, I think it was Volition, announced during E3 that had a lot of ties to Saints Row, so they could just be using that code name. That's what I think. That is what I think the current buzz is. I don't know for certain.
I
Cyanide,
just, I
I'm
just want more.
also down for some more Saints Row. I would love to see
Yeah,
that franchise continue,
fantastic game.
but
Even
we'll
if you
see.
just need to keep going with all the crazy nonsense that happened in 4 and just have an entire time travel game, down.
Dude,
What's
I
up?
would love to play the Time Haters.
Let's do it. It's the Saints.
Uh,
The Saints take time.
what's your opinion of Telltale games?
Telltale games are phenomenal storytelling adventures that, for the most part, I don't have enough time to play.
See, I used to be in that same boat with you. I've always felt that they had some issues, especially with like save compatibility issues. Apparently,
Mhm.
there's always been problems with savings.
But they're like, I don't think any of them are just bad games.
I'm
Like,
done
I
with
mean,
them though. I'm so fucking tired of that same Telltale formula over and over and over again. The last one that I played that
just with a new franchise.
yeah,
Here's a new skin for basically this thing that's gonna have a bunch of shocking decisions and then crazy things happens and then chop down that tree.
I
'Cause
mean, Walking Dead is
it's
excellent.
my favorite.
Wolf Among Us is great. Tales from the Borderlands is one of the fucking funniest games I've ever played. But after a while, you start realizing you're playing the exact same fucking game over and over and over again, and they all look like each other.
No, don't. You can't think of it that way though, because if you're a Telltale fan, you're not necessarily just playing it for the Telltale thing. That's not the only people that are picking up these games. You have to remember that a lot of people that are picking up these Telltale games are people that are fans of the original franchises. So it's less about you being stuck in another Telltale game and more about them being back in the universe that they love.
I will also admit
That's
that
why. in my opinion, the Minecraft Telltale game has done so well because so many people love Minecraft, and just getting in that world with an actual storyline is enough for a lot of people.
I'll also admit that I was the bastard that had to review all the Telltale games individually per episode. So every time a new hour and a half episode would come out, I would have to
You had
spend
to sit
like
there and play it.
4 hours writing it.
I
So
mean, and that's your problem.
yeah,
Not mine.
I admit that I personally have a reason beyond the standard to be a little bit extra jaded on the Telltale stuff. But even then, I don't think my sentiment is that much of an outlier. I think there are a lot of people who are just done with the Telltale formula.
We'll see. We'll see if they start working on different projects, or if they make a new kind of game, or if there's Telltale Season 2 and they just have a whole new formula and then make a whole new batch of games. Who knows?
We'll see. But that is all coming out later. But for right now, David, if you want to play something at this moment, or at least later in the week, what do you got for us?
All right, I'm going to do this in the order of what's probably the most important, counting down to the best. So I'm going to talk about first the game that's coming out on Friday, and then I'm going to talk about stuff coming out on Tuesday. Because on Friday, Killing Floor 2 is coming out for PC and PS4. This game has been in open beta, closed beta, whatever the hell beta, early access for quite a while on PC, and it's finally actually coming out at the end of this week. It's where you kill stuff. It's the second one. It's actually got decent reviews on Steam, so I would take a look at it if you like to murder things.
You ever play Killing Floor?
I didn't get into it really.
Yeah, they're all right. They're not great.
It's not a bad game. It's fun.
It falls into the same category as Payday does for me. It's that same level of quality to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, you spend time with it. Plus, it's not a full $60 game. I think it's only $30. So, also coming out actually this week, you can pick it up tomorrow, is Assassin's Creed: The Ezio Collection for PS4 and Xbox. It represents, I guess, some of the best and worst of the Assassin's Creed, considering it does all the Ezio stuff. So you have Assassin's Creed 2, you have Brotherhood, you have Revelations, I think is the whole list.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 2.
It's a remaster of those games all packaged together.
It's not even really all that much of a remaster, dude. I think they might have upscaled the resolution and that's it. Remember how I said
they cleaned it up a little bit.
Remember how I said Ubisoft was taking a year off of Assassin's Creed? Well, this is their compromise on that. They're going to re-release a bunch of old games.
Thanks, Ubisoft. You're doing the thing everyone else is. So good job. That comes out tomorrow. Also coming out tomorrow, WatchDogs 2. Yeah, we're excited for that, obviously.
I live in San Francisco for all intents and purposes. I'm kind of curious to play it. I do want to get a hold of it, but I'm not.
You just want to wander around.
Yeah.
So it is coming out for PS4 and Xbox One tomorrow. Unfortunately, as PC players do have to wait until later in the month.
Which is bullshit. But I hate that.
It is you know what? If it comes out and it's not a port, I am totally fucking fine with it.
It's going to be.
2 weeks.
This is just Ubisoft because they refuse to release anything on PC the day stuff comes out because they're terrified of piracy. Not their shitty DRM that I don't want to say turns people to piracy, but definitely makes people kind of be less inclined to buy it legitimately.
To be fair, I haven't played a Ubisoft game on PC since Uplay existed, so yeah, take that. But hey, Watch Dogs 2, cool. You can play that weird game trailer thing. But now let's talk about the most important thing, I think, that is coming out tomorrow. This is a game that I probably had no interest in until something came out at the middle of this year. That was a huge craze. Everybody and their mother played this game, and they played it hard. And they went outside, and they lost weight, and they got suntans, and they were staring at their phones, and everybody thought that all the young kids turned into zombies, but then old people were doing it too. I'm talking about Pokemon Go. Now, the biggest thing Pokemon Go did, for me anyway, was get me hyped on Pokemon Sun and Moon, which comes out tomorrow. If you don't know what Pokemon is,
don't explain Pokemon. Don't explain.
It's a game about gathering monsters.
People know what Pokemon is. We don't need to get that.
People don't know. People have never heard of it.
If people know what Twitch or YouTube is, the two avenues they'll be watching us on, they fucking know what Pokemon is.
I'm getting Sun.
I'm getting neither one of them. I'm not a Pokemon guy.
No. All right. Well, I mean, if you're hanging out in the comments, let me know what your starter is going to be. I'm curious.
Listen, it's a Pokemon game. It's going to fucking sell big. They always do. So I'm sure that GameStops across the country will be just delighted to see all those happy shiny faces there the morning it comes out.
Yeah.
All right. So that does it for new releases, David. And normally, this is where we go into the topic of the week, and I usually rant about something or we have a stupid list. However, this week, the rant will not be delivered by me, but by David on the topic that Nintendo sucks.
Yeah, it's 2016. It's been a long time.
It's the current year.
I've been well, I've been a Nintendo fan since I was able to play games. First console I ever had was an NES, then a Super Nintendo, and I followed all these franchises. And Nintendo has always been that company that they have this huge fan base, this core base that keeps coming back to them. And at some point they lost me, and they keep trying to get me back, but they're incapable of doing it
Now,
because they're
when
too
did they
fucking
lose you?
stupid. Honestly, like the whole Wii cycle.
Okay.
Just because since the Wii came out, they've been nothing but gimmicks and just general debauchery flavored bullshit.
Debauchery
Because
flavored bullshit.
yeah, I don't understand what their practice is. So one, they need to hire someone who's past high school economics. Let's
Okay.
just start with that. So this recent week, the Nintendo Classic NES came out, and they announced this thing back in July, where it was the number one trending thing on like Twitter, on Kotaku, on any like Polygon, Forbes, any website that talks about games. This was the number one thing that anyone had heard about. Huge comments, huge page views. Everyone was super stoked for this classic NES. And then they took no online pre-orders. Retailers received 3 to 5 of them, and Amazon sold out in less than 2 seconds because for some reason, even though this is the biggest thing that Nintendo has managed to put together in the last 10 years, they
I don't know
weren't
about 10 years, but I get your
capable.
point.
They weren't. I have hyperbole issues, so we'll just live with that. They weren't capable of producing. I don't even think they've released 100,000 of these damn things, honestly.
Artificial demand is the term you're looking for. They pulled the same shit with the Wii and
And here's the thing, because
Amiibos.
at this point in time, yes, we have the Wii U where you could not buy one, and not just for the first week, not for the first 2 weeks, not for the first month, for the first 3 fucking months of its release, you could not buy one. Now, if you remember when the PS3 launched, no one
You
could get
mean
a
the
hold of
Wii,
it.
right?
Yes, I'm sorry, the Wii. I went not far enough back. But if you remember when the PS3 launched, there was issues with people being able to buy it. That's because there was literally a supply shortage because they were not able to pump them out quick enough to meet the demand. They were building them as fast as they could and getting them off their shelves. But they managed to catch up, and it was only a few weeks to maybe a month of you not being able to get a
I
console.
would still argue there was some artificially manipulated
While
supply
while
issues there.
while that
Like
could
they planned
definitely
that on
be
purpose.
while that could be the case, it was nowhere near as bad as the Wii. And at this point, there's only really two potential options for Nintendo. Either they are just intentionally doing this and being complete assholes and just trying to create artificial demand for way too long, just limiting supply in order to make everything as hype as Furby's was, but for way longer than a Furby. But that doesn't actually make you any money if you don't sell any fucking consoles. The only other option is that they're completely incompetent.
No, they're not incompetent. This is
And
artificial demand
that's
for
the
artificial
problem
demand's sake.
is I cannot actually believe that they're this that stupid that they talked about this thing way back early in the year. They had this huge demand spike. Everyone was super stoked for this damn thing, and then all of a sudden they released none of them. And the first thing they say after all these shortages is, well, don't worry, we're going to keep supply up and you'll be able to get them throughout the holiday season.
Yeah, it's intentional.
Which means
They're
they're just going
doing
to
the
release little batches here and there,
yeah.
and they're going to try and drag this out for as long as humanly fucking possible. And you know what's going to happen is a bunch of people are going to buy it. They're always going to be sold out, but they're not going to make nearly as much money as they could have if they just released the fucking things.
And it just gets flipped on eBay for like 4 times the cost.
And now here's the thing: if you want to use artificial like supply shortages to increase demand so that the price of the product goes up, That's really great for your company if you're the one selling the inflated price
Yeah, and they're
console.
not.
But if you're selling it for $60 to a bunch of motherfuckers on eBay who are turning around and selling them for 8 times the price, guess who's making all your money, Nintendo? Because it sure as fuck ain't you, and that's why you never deliver.
Yeah, this is Nintendo are the fucking masters at creating artificial demand for shit that no one really I don't want to say wants to buy, but they
Well,
build
no,
the hype up
that's what
so
I'm saying.
much on certain
This
items
this
that people
this
are
item,
ravenous to pick it up, even though
this
a
thing
week later,
specifically,
no one cares.
because they are directly tapping in to that entire retro vibe, but it's kind of hit a fever pitch. Everyone's really into old school. Everyone's into like, the classic music. We'll go back to Guardians of the Galaxy and the '80s soundtrack, and people love that. And then you have all these retro style games. Think of like Hotline Miami when that came out. Remember how cool Blood Dragon was when that
Well,
came
our
out.
future is
There's
so
this
dark, we have to look to the past to feel good.
Yes, but there's this whole like future retro thing going on, and so this came out at a really great time to tap into that nostalgia trigger for a whole bunch of gamers. Basically, anyone who's a couple years younger than me, all the way up to I'd say 45 or so, because that's like the people this is targeting. There's the people that were playing games right then, right in between 88 and 92 or whenever the hell the NES was. I don't know exactly.
You're talking, yeah, well, a little bit earlier than that, but you're for the most part right.
Ballpark. I get really young towards the beginning of that, so but it's just irresponsible, really, because they have the potential to do something really cool and to make a bunch of people really happy. And this thing could legitimately be the ultimate stocking stuffer. It's only $60. I mean, at that point, it is just
Yeah, and it's fucking tiny too. I mean, the thing is, I've seen it. It's like that. It's well, maybe not that small, but it's fucking tiny.
But I'm just saying, like, this isn't like a super hard, oh, I need to save up all my money, thought out purchase. You're not buying a full console. This is the kind of thing, it's like you're coming home from
It's
the
an impulse
store.
buy. $60.
Yeah, $60. Oh, okay, I guess I won't pick
It's
up
cost of
another game.
Battlefield 1.
Yeah, I could pick up 30 games, and it'll be awesome, and it'll be
It's
retro. Now,
cost of 2 copies of Titanfall 2.
getting into the console itself, we can complain about the 2-foot controller cords and the fact that you actually have to get up and go press the reset button on the console to change games, and there's nothing on the controller because they wanted to make it as legitimate as possible. But it's hard to make those arguments about the quality of the product when no one's even seen it.
Yeah, I mean it's a shitty situation all around, and that's not the only fucking thing Nintendo's been guilty of lately. A little while ago, I didn't bring this up in GamePoints because it really wasn't that big of a news, but they were essentially asked point blank, "Hey, are you guys stopping Wii U production?" And Nintendo said, "No, we are not stopping Wii U production because it's still selling." Now everyone fucking knew they were lying, but still, Nintendo said, "Hey, we're going to keep supporting the Wii U." Literally the next fucking day, Nintendo announces we're stopping Wii U production. Guys, we're not fucking stupid. Stop lying to us. We're fucking
It's really
tired
easy.
of it.
It's
The,
it's
the,
not the
the,
80s anymore. You guys aren't like the super king anymore.
yeah, this shit's on the internet. We can find this out. We know what you have told us, and we know what you have done. This shit
There's a
needs
record
to
of it.
stop. I mean, my God, it's fucking brazen at this point. I mean that Nintendo was literally straight up lying to that guy's face. They didn't. They could have at least said no comment or we don't respond to rumors or speculation. At least then they wouldn't have fucking lied. But you can't tell me that the representative went, no, we're not. We're going to keep producing Wii U's, and then went home that night, no, opened up its email the next morning and find out that Nintendo made the sudden decision to stop making Wii U's. No, they fucking knew about it. They fucking lied about it. And when yeah, you could say, oh, they only lied to that one guy, but that one guy was reporting for a bunch of people. They didn't just lie to him. They lied to their fucking fans when they do shit like that. It's bullshit. At the
And
very least, say no comment.
Here's the biggest issue with that though, specifically. Kind of jumping on that train, is we have issues with Nintendo lying to people, which obviously, if you look at their stock prices, shareholders are fucking nervous about every goddamn thing they do.
Yeah, Switch announcement
But
did not go over well with them. They dropped, I think, 20% the day after. I'm not positive on that. Double check
although
the numbers.
I did enjoy the fact that shareholders don't really know how games work and tried to put a bunch of money in Nintendo when Pokemon Go came out, even though they don't own it even at all. Which again,
Yeah,
another
they own,
mistake.
they own the
You
licensing fees, and that's it. They don't own the
should have done
profits of the
something
game.
with that. You could have made some money. But regardless, let's talk about the fact that the only information we get from Nintendo is lies. Because we don't get any other information. So I'm going to go right back to the Switch and the fact that this is a console that's coming out in just a few months, and we don't know fuck all about it. We've seen a couple pictures now, which is more than we knew a month and a half ago, but we still don't know the price. We don't know the hardware specs. We don't have any kind of games launch window. We don't know dick about this fucking thing. And somehow they want this to sell well. Somehow they want this to be the thing that pulls them out of the fire. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I
I
think
have
people are.
no reason to buy this damn console. I don't care if you put a Mario, a Zelda, and all kinds of other shit on it. I just can't trust you as a company at this point to be responsible.
So here's my thing on the Switch. One, that is not just your opinion alone. The fact that their stock dropped pretty hard after the Switch reveal shows a lot of people are jittery about it. Two, people are fucking burned by the Wii U. I mean, burned hard on it.
And look at that.
And
It's a
they're going to
Wii U
remember that.
controller that you can plug into your fucking TV. Good job. Who is this even for?
Yeah, exactly. And three, I'm super fucking concerned about the power behind this console because
It's gonna suck. It's a fucking tablet. It's running on an NVIDIA Tegra processor. You know what that's in? The Samsung Galaxy Note.
I didn't know that. That means my phone is as powerful as the Switch as far as that one aspect is concerned.
Congratulations. You have a new version of the processor that was in the fucking Ouya. Really? Why do I care? Why do you give that to me as a selling point?
I'm so fucking worried about the Switch. I want it to be good. I like the idea of it. I think it actually looks cool.
Again, we
But
disagree there because I don't.
You
I don't
hate the way
get
it
what
looks.
they're-
Yeah, you don't care.
Well, I
think
don't
looks
get what
cool
it's
personally.
for. It's too big to actually be a portable console. It doesn't fit on my phone. That's the reason why mobile gaming exists. Because I get DS, I can put in my pocket. My phone, I can put in my pocket. That big ass thing with joysticks, it sure as fuck ain't going in my pocket. It would need to go in a backpack. And guess what? If I have a backpack, I have my laptop, and that can play better games.
Yeah, I mean it's. Oh man, Nintendo, you are so fucking up on this one. I want to go back to a
And that's the
conversation
problem.
we had earlier.
It's
I
like
want this to be good.
I don't
want this
want to
to be
hate
good.
Nintendo. I really don't. It's just they're making it so damn hard.
Yeah, it's too easy to hate them right now because they fucked up so hard.
I mean, and
Yeah.
maybe we're wrong. Maybe they're gonna have this super late announcement, and it's gonna be cheaper. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, chat's agreeing with you, by the
they're
way.
gonna.
Cyanide says he plays better games on his laptop than the Switch has, and
Oh, I know
we're
he
both in
has a good
agreement on that.
But like maybe it's gonna have this amazing game list. Maybe it's gonna have like the best launch library of any console that's been released in the last 20 years. Maybe it's gonna come out at a great price point. Maybe it's gonna be able to play these games fantastic. Maybe it renders everything at 2K, 60 FPS, silky smooth all the time. Who knows? I mean,
just don't
we
trust
we
it.
do have to wait for it. It's just at this point in time, I'm really hard pressed to believe it.
You know what's really going to chat my ass to? And in Nintendo's defense, we have no proof that they're going to do this, but it fucking fits their past history. All that shit, all the virtual console stuff that you bought like on the DS and the 3DS,
Oh, time to rebuy it for
you're
sure.
gonna have to rebuy it again for the Switch, even though it's the same fucking game. I guarantee
no,
it. I
no backwards
guarantee it.
compatibility whatsoever.
And it'll
But
be
they will
overpriced,
start releasing Wii
as
games
always.
on it.
It's just bad. Now, the one good thing about the Switch, and it's not really a good, I use good quotation marks, is that all the great games for the Wii U will be ported over to the Switch. So you will not even have to buy a Wii U at all. If you wanted to play the... I can't even think of anything that was on the Wii U that I would want to play.
Yeah, go ahead.
About
Name the best Wii U game. Name the Wii U games that'll sell me a Switch. I fucking dare you.
I can't even name 5 Wii U games now that I think about it. That's how... Like, there's Star Fox, which sucked. Apparently, it was just a terrible game.
I guarantee it has a Mario game, a Mario Party game, a Smash Brothers game, some kind of Zelda game,
No, there
some
was
kind
no
of
Zelda
Mario
on the Wii
Kart
U.
game.
Breath of the Wild
Nothing?
is going to be the first Wii U Zelda game, and that, for the all intents and purposes, is a Switch game now.
All right.
Yeah, I can't even think of 5 games on the Wii U, let alone 5 games I'd want on the Wii U.
New Super Mario Brothers, probably.
Yeah, I guess there was a Wii U Mario. I don't even remember. I can't even recall. That's how
Oh,
little
okay.
impact that
How about
console has
it?
on my life.
I bet it has like the Lego games
I can buy
for
those on other
sure.
consoles. I want when I answer these questions, I want specifically exclusives.
Skylanders.
Not console exclusive. I can get it on PS4.
Oh, dude, I know the game that'll sell Wii U. Mighty Number Nine. Oh wait,
And I could have gotten it on PC if I was so inclined.
yeah, but that game sucked too. Damn it,
Uh,
KG.
that's bad. That's bad. Nintendo. I think you've kind of.
And this is what I'm saying is like they have this huge core fan base that they could appeal to. They have a bunch of people that really like their products and would like to play their games, and they're poised in a position where they could attract a bunch of new young gamers and bring them into the Nintendo brand, which for the most part, all they do is just keep pumping out Mario games, which I get. They sell a fair amount, but at some point it's going to dry up. You can't expect to float an entire business on releasing 5 Mario games a year. You just can't. It's not going to fucking happen.
No, it's not. And I think as far as I'm not going to say most people, as far as a lot of people are concerned, Nintendo has burnt through all the goodwill that they have. Uh, it
I mean,
sucks,
if I
but
go because
that's the writing on the wall,
I've
I
known a
think.
bunch of hardcore Nintendo fans, and if I go talk to them, I think I have 2 friends that have owned a Wii U, and I don't think they even currently own it.
And if the Switch bombs, by the way, Nintendo is done when it comes to hardware. They will become a Sega. They won't like
Which I'm
disappear
pretty sure
overnight.
we talked about the fact that they should have done that years ago.
Yeah, they won't disappear overnight, but you will start to see Mario games on like PlayStation, for example, which would be
Although, if
hilarious
Nintendo
given the
goes
fact
and
that
turns into Sega, you know who that opens the door for? Sega. Chance to shine.
Dreamcast 2,
Dreamcast
baby.
2.
All right, I
All
think
about it.
I think that wraps things up. We're gonna go ahead and stop it here. This has been Game Points. Once again, thanks for watching us. If you're watching us live, we do broadcast every Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here at Twitch TV/GamePoints. If you want to watch all of our past history shows, you can turn it to YouTube. Type in Game Points one word. We should pop right up on the first few results there, and you can take a look there. Not every show gets there because honestly, I suck at this and I have audio issues left and right. But fuck it, it's free.
This computer's whack.
If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can go to GamePoints at GamePoints PC for the show itself. You can follow us individually. I am at CapitalistPig21. David there's at PalShop_Satori. He's
Speaking
rarely on
of,
Twitter though, so it doesn't matter. You wanted to say
now
something.
speaking of, as a post Game Points topic, if you have an idea of what you would want to see as a launch title for the Dreamcast 2, tweet me that shit. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. If you have any suggestions, comments, concerns, questions, whatever, feel free to tweet either one of us or the show itself, and we'll try to address it online. And as always, you're more than welcome to comment, like, subscribe, any other of
Whatever the
those
fuck, internet.
social media things that people love to do. But once again, thanks for watching. This has been Game Points, and we are out of here.